They don't like me much in Ohio because I, unlike the rest of the American media and people, with mostly a brain, do not think because Odell Beckham signed with the Browns and because they were 7-9 last year, they're going to take the NFL over. Zany, I think they're just collecting talent. They were 7-9 last year. I think they'll be about 9-7 this year as long as Odell Beckham stays healthy. But they've got a rookie head coach. And frankly, again, they're really good at skill positions. We'll see how it works out. They're in a division with really well-run organizations, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, who I think have a chance to both finish ahead of them. Baker Mayfield took a shot at me the other day. Very hurtful, very painful for me to endure. As I came out and said, nobody's going to be honest about Cleveland. This thing could be a dumpster fire. Baker Mayfield fired a shot, said, come to Cleveland and ask O if he actually likes it. Your source is full of BS, and while you're at it, come see if I'm a baby. What I said is, he's a kid. He's a baby. Second year in the league. He's very young, not like an infant. Very, very hurtful. Very, very painful. And then, Cleveland's so gassed up now. I just can't get over themselves. I mean, they've already scheduled a Super Bowl parade. Yeah, a couple days ago, there was Fox Sports had a Twitter poll on the best fan base. So we put it out there. It's a Twitter poll. And you might as well have called this the most insecure fan base poll because the finalists were Tennessee and Cleveland, insecure NFL fan bases who want everybody to think they're great fans. Neither is a top 10 fan base, in my opinion. Let me give you some images, let's say with the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns in terms of fan participation. The Pittsburgh Steelers lead the NFL in tickets sold for visiting teams. The terrible towel. Maybe you've seen it at Super Bowls, where they've literally turned Super Bowls, which are supposed to be neutral fields, into home field advantages for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No team in the NFL, it's almost collegiate. In fact, it is, travels to as many road games as Steeler fans. Nobody's close in the NFL. Steeler Nation. By the way, several years ago, in San Diego, the Chargers hosted the Steelers. Phillip Rivers, San Diego's quarterback, had to go to a silent count at home because there were so many Steeler fans in San Diego. There are images of Cleveland Brown fans, too. Empty seats, bags on their head, and a bunch of guys from Lima, Ohio in the end zone wearing masks and barking about 9 Budweisers in. So I don't buy that Cleveland has the best fans. I think Cleveland has low self-esteem with its football franchise. So does Tennessee. So they rush to a Twitter poll and fill it out. If I had to list a top 10 fan base, and I would use a series of things to determine what it is. I think there are certain things that matter. Loyalty, size. Are you willing to sit in crappy weather? Have you been loyal for 20 years? What is your impact? Do you literally change audibles? Do you force teams to play differently? Things that matter, loyalty, size, consistent support, impact. Here's the best, to me, the best fan bases in the NFL. Number one, Pittsburgh, and I'm not even sure it's close. The size is massive. They're willing to sit in crappy weather. It's one of the loudest stadiums. They've been loyal for 30-plus years. They travel better than anybody and turn Super Bowls into home field advantages. Steelers, number one. Number two is Green Bay. Now, again, massive national size, one of the louder stadiums. They're loyal for even bad teams. It's a loud stadium, not the loudest, not New Orleans or Seattle, but major impact. I'd say Philadelphia is the most underrated. They're third. It could be, after New Orleans, the loudest stadium in the NFL. The fan base is more regional than national, but, they had to put a jail in the bottom of their stadium. They get rowdy, they get loud, and it's an intimidating place to play. I'd put Denver 4. Again, because they're in the Rocky Mountains, nobody can even figure out the time zone. They have been filling stadiums forever. I grew up as a kid. The one place you didn't want my Seahawks to go was Denver. You couldn't hear. Unbelievably loyal fan base and a massive regional fan base. In the Rockies, they are the team of note. The Cowboys would be number 5. It's the largest fan base in the country, but they're not that loyal. It's kind of corporate. They go to a stadium and they're not that loud. When's the last time anybody went to Dallas and said, I can't hear in here? It's just so loud. It's not that loud, but it's massive in terms of size. I don't think it's loyal either. If the Cowboys stunk for 5 years, the crowds would shrink. I'd put Kansas City number 6. loud. It's just not a very big fan base. It's in Kansas City. You don't see a lot of Kansas City Chiefs hats around the country. That size isn't very big, but it's one of the loudest stadiums. Arrowhead has loyal fan bases. Those people sit through hailstorms. They get the worst winter. Forget snow. They get hailstorms. They get lightning strikes, and they just sit there. I'd say the Saints are 7. Again, it's a small fan base. It's mostly regional. It's the loudest stadium in the NFL. It changes the way you have to attack the Saints when you go down to New Orleans. That's why nobody wants to go to New Orleans and play. It changes game plans. Loyal for the most part. They've had a little Cleveland in them where there were empty seats and bags on the heads. I would put number 8, Seattle, second loudest NFL stadium. They have something called the 12th man for a reason. The weather's also a big advantage. People sit through rain. I've been one of them. You don't see a lot of snow, but it's sopping wet for about 6 of those home games and raining sideways. I'd put Chicago at 9. Regional, national fan base. Some people will argue it's a little low, but I've seen empty seats through the years. But in terms of pregame, postgame, celebration, media coverage, intensity, and willingness to be in bad weather, plus, it's Soldiers loud. And number 10, I'd say Buffalo. To sit through all that bad football for most of the last 20 years, I just think you owe them the responsibility of being on this list. The parking lot stuff is legendary on the internet. Those are the 10 best fan bases in the National Football League. Tennessee's not in the top 20. And Cleveland, you got to give me a break. I know everybody's telling you Odell Beckham and 7 and 9 throw a parade Mardi Gras. Slow down a little, Cleveland. Slow down a little, Cleveland. We're not pretending you don't exist. We all just are considering your owner, your coach. We're considering your history, the youth of your quarterback, Odell Beckham's injury history. We're all just like pump the brakes a little. You don't, by the way, have the best team in your own division, nor do you have the best fan base.
They are very loyal.
I've seen a lot of empty seats. The ones
that are there are very loyal. I mean, listen, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I have no reason to say anything nice about Cleveland, as I always tell you.
Can you imagine me tell my wife, listen, I cheated on you, but when I'm there, I'm loyal. Listen, I'm half the nights I sleep somewhere else. But, when I'm home, you're the only one for me.
Who wants to go? It's Cleveland. Like, there's not that much going on. They're there. They go to games.
Not as much as
and to their credit, they have not put a good product out there for a very long time. And they're just excited that they have a quarterback and they have Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry.
Green Bay had 20 years of nothing. That place is they're expanding their stadium now.
That poll, did the Cowboys get out of the first round of that poll? I mean, I know we're tough on the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have the biggest brand in all of sports.
Yeah, they have the biggest fan base, but it's very corporate. I don't think it's as loyal, and Dallas is not a loud stadium. It's a cool stadium.
Well, I wouldn't say that the environment there is vicious. Like, it's not an intimidating place to play.
Not Kansas City.
But I would say, I think Cowboys fans probably need to be a little higher up because it is the biggest brand in all of sports. Like, not just the biggest brand in all of sports.
Yeah, big.
Any league,
massive,
all over the world.
Gigantic.
No, literally it is.
No, I said that's why I put them in the top 5. Their size is great, but loyalty, passion, intensity, impact.
I'm just glad that you recognize that Pittsburgh is the best. That's all.
I did. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.